Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
This really from Mumbai towards the end, right? The way they were positioned, they've got a couple of the big players. They kind of just imploded, didn't they?
It was a very loud implosion. You normally use the word for an explosion, but this was a very loud implosion. I mean, 100 for 4 and 20 balls later, they're finished. And in those 20 balls, Pollard has hit a couple of big ones. I mean, it was... When things go wrong, you know, there is this tug-of-war analogy. When that big fellow at the back starts to move a little bit, then everyone gets dragged forward. It was that kind of day. So, I mean, if you're a Mumbai Indians fan, it was so disappointing. If you're a KKR fan, it was wow, because they did so many things right. They finally went with Cummins and Southee. They used Russell up front rather than only use him as a death bowler. They kept the spinners back for Tim David and Kieron Pollard. I thought they made the most of a total that probably was a little under par. And look, that's what I'm telling you. Once Ishan Kishan goes out, actually include Ishan Kishan and see who has scored at a strike rate of over 100 for a start and who's got into double figures. Mumbai Indians in 2020, 2019, their glory years, they were a batting juggernaut. They were a batting powerhouse. Other teams imploded watching them bat. And this will be very, very disappointing for them to see this performance.
I'll tell you what's happened. They were 83 for 3. Then they lost Tim David. That was the 4th wicket. In 30 runs, they've lost 7 wickets. I mean, the bowling was good, Dooley, but not that good. I mean, Mumbai is going to take...
Yeah. Look, I mean, it was a pretty abysmal batting performance, wasn't it? The bowling was good. I thought Kolkata had one of their better nights. They fought, they fought their way, I suppose, to that score in the end, which we thought if they picked up a couple of early wickets, then allowed the spinners to get into the game through the middle, they were a chance. That's what we talked about at the halfway stage, but it shouldn't have been that easy for them in the end. But Mumbai just, barring one or two performances, they've looked ordinary, haven't they? They're missing their core. They haven't quite, they've certainly, Pollard is just not himself, and they're missing their core of players. They're missing those guys that won them games, and they're missing key performances from big guns. But credit to Kolkata, I think. Finally, we saw, and we've been calling for it for a while, try and find a way to get Cummins and Southee into the side. They've found a way to get Cummins and Southee into the side, which has made their bowling just look a little bit better. I mean, I think Tim Southee's had a pretty good time of it since he's come into the side. He's fetched maybe once or twice in I think 7 games now. But again tonight, 3 overs, 1 for 10. He's been quite steady up front for them. He's regularly picked up 1 wicket, if not more. Pat Cummins is at his best night with the ball, which is good to see from a Kolkata point of view. And they used Russell properly and got Narayan and Chakravarti through the middle rather than up front when the ball was just starting to grip a little bit. And Chakravarti's return. So look at the 2 guys that have the 3 guys that have returned from the trenches, let's say. Cummins, Chakravarti, Venkatesh Iyer. The 3 big names that we thought were just destined to sit on the bench for the rest of the tournament because they'd been so poor. Have come in from the dark and they've found the light, and maybe someone's hit the power switch. Gee, like at your place.
But for Mumbai fans, they're just thinking, can this season get any worse? It's not about losing games, Harsha. It's just about how you lose them.
Yes, I agree.
Right? This one's a bitter pill to swallow. I mean, both against the Knight Riders, and remember the Knight Riders are Mumbai always had their number, right? All through these seasons, they had their number. This was a big game. They were a big thorn in KKR's side, and KKR's got some solid revenge this season.
They have, and KKR never beat Mumbai in Mumbai. As a very excited KKR fan kept sending me voice notes throughout. But the only time that KKR repeated Mumbai in Mumbai was in 2012 when in that Shah Rukh Khan affair. Otherwise, they have never beaten Mumbai in Mumbai. I can understand the KKR fans getting very excited because their matchup against Mumbai in Mumbai has been terrible in the past. But you're absolutely right. You look down that points table now, and I think one thing that's sure now is, almost sure, is that Mumbai will finish number 10. And for a proud side with a record like that, it's a very bitter pill to swallow. It's like No, I won't say that because I'll get angry. It's like United with Ronaldo losing 0-4 to some other side the other day. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. So Mumbai coming down to number 10 will hurt enormously, and I won't be surprised at all if they're relooking completely in a mini auction next year. There's not a lot of correction that you can do, but they will have to look at it, because this game, Jasprit Bumrah had dragged them back into a position from which they should have won.
True.
And they used what Bumrah did against Mumbai. And one of the things we are learning now is a lot of the T20 batsmen do not like the bouncer. 9 wickets have fallen to the bouncer. 9 wickets to the bouncer.